Okay, now we're going to talk about the unit circle, and we're specifically going to focus on 30-degree angle. So if this is the 30-degree angle, and if you didn't know, if you had to figure out what the radians were, 30 goes into 180, 30 goes into 30 once, 30 goes into 186 times. So pi 6 is another way to say 30 degrees. Okay, so in the video just previous to this, I showed from the viewpoint, if you draw an eye down here, from the viewpoint, I guess I did it more this way, viewpoint of this eye, this is the opposite side, and this is 1/2 of the hypotenuse. Well, remember, we call the unit circle because each of the radii are 1 unit. Each radius is 1 unit, all right? And then the length down here, so here's our 30, 60, 90. Each of these are 90 degree. This length is √3/2. Well, this is our x value right there. This entire length is √3/2. Well, that's our x value. And this height is the height of 1/2. So on the unit circle, every angle that is 30 degrees, you're going to have an x value that is either positive or negative √3/2, and a y value that is either positive or negative 1/2. So let me explain what I mean by positive or negative. In the unit circle, we have the entire circle, right? Well, this section is the first quadrant. You write it in Roman numerals, and you use the ordinal counting: first, second, third, fourth. Well, then if you just look normally, if we're going to the right, that's the positive x direction. If we're going up, that's the positive y. So all of the x's are positive and all the y's, all the y's are positive. In the second quadrant, oh, look it, we're going in the negative direction. So all of the negatives, all the x's are negative, but we're still going up. So all the y's are positive. In the third quadrant, the x's were going in the negative direction. The y's were going down, so that's the negative direction. So negative, negative. In the fourth quadrant, we're going in the positive direction for the x's, but we're going down for the y's. So when we look at all of these 30-degree angles right here, we come over here, we're still going to have, for the x value, √3/2. For our y value, you're going to 1/2. But now look at, our x value is negative. So again, pay attention. Both the x and the y, the √3/2 for the x, the 1/2 for the y. Over here, the √3/2 for the x, the 1/2 for the y. And then you just pay attention to the quadrants. In the first quadrant, they're both positive. In the second quadrant, the x is negative, the y is positive. In the third quadrant, this is a 30-degree angle. It happens to be a total of 210, but it's 30 degrees from that axis. So 30 degrees away, the x value is √3/2. The y value is 1/2. But in the third quadrant, because we're going left and down, those are both going to be negative. And finally, on the fourth quadrant, this is 30-degree reference angle. It's 30 degrees from the x-axis. It's a total of 330 degrees. And its coordinate points for the x-axis, we're still going to have √3/2. and it's going in the positive direction in this quadrant, but the y values are going down. So that would be negative. I lost my pen. Hold on just a sec. Negative 1/2 will be the y value. But the emphasis is the x and the y's. You don't flip them. You don't put the root 3 over 2 in the y place. They all stay the same. The only thing that changes are the operators. So in the fourth quadrant, the x is positive, the y is negative. All right, so that's for the 30 degree angle on the unit circle. I'm going to do one on the 45 and on the 60, and that'll be next.